Being a detective as my full-time job has taught me a few things on how to manage stress, particularly relating to if you're a parent, if you have a full-time job, if you have a lot of responsibilities. The last 4 years have been absolutely insane. It feels like, we're back in kind of like color mode and we're getting back to like normal life. But if your weeks are flying by but your days are long, then that's really showing me and showing you that you're probably under a lot of stress. So there's three things that I do that I learned from my work as being a detective on how to manage stress. And it's kind of simple, but there's some key things that you have to remember in managing your stress. So there was a time, a specific day at work. This was a few months ago. Now, to give you some context on how being a detective in my department works, is you work for a specific set of days and then you're off for a specific set of days and you switch from nights to days, from nights to days, and it's kind of crazy shift work, but you get used to it after a while. And you're responsible for one full day of any of the cases, the criminal cases that come in. So one day out of that week, you're responsible for everything within that geographical area. And you could have an easy day where kind of nothing really goes on, you get to catch up on your stuff, or you can have a crazy day when 3, 4, 5 things are going on at a time. You have all the stuff that you had to pick up on last week and still finish, and it could be that you got like 3 hours of sleep that same night because your 2-year-old wouldn't go to bed and woke up and came in your room, or your 1-year-old, or you have a newborn, or whatever, right? So there's one specific way I use to manage stress, and that is something called box breathing. So box breathing is a 4-second inhale, a 4-second pause, and then a 4-second exhale. So you breathe in for 4 seconds, you pause and you hold that breath for 4, and then you release it for 4 seconds, and you do that about 4 or 5 times. It lowers the heart rate. It's gonna really reduce your stress, and that's what I use in tense situations that are evolving fast. So for example, if I hear something come over the police radio involving like a strong arm robbery or a shooting or something like that, and in the area that I work, it's few and far between, but it does happen, you're gonna get that spike of adrenaline. Now, if you're not in the law enforcement world and you're just at home dealing with, stress of life, if your 2-year-old is throwing a tantrum and the microwave vent is going off and dinner is being cooked and your wife or your spouse or whatever is not home from work and you're just like praying to get through the next hour, the box breathing will help because that's immediate external stress that's being put onto you, and you are completely overstimulated and you don't know how to deal with it and you're just freaking out. And usually what happens is you might snap at one of the kids and raise your voice, or you might just sit there and be like, I cannot deal with this right now. This is way too much pressure. The box breathing helps. I'll give you a clear example on when it helped me. I heard a 911 call come over regarding a shooting at a mall. This is years ago, and it sounded very, very bad. It's multiple people calling in. They're talking about automatic weapons and firearms and people running, and people are trapped in stores, and you hear that call come over the radio and your adrenaline spikes up to 199%. And you don't have anything ready. Like, I'm not going to be wearing my vest inside the office, so I have to run around and get everything, and you have to think about what's my plan of attack when I actually get there. I need to go there and help and assist. I'm not even thinking about detective stuff. I'm just thinking about, as a first responder, what do I do when I get there? Is the bad guy going to be there? Is this going to be a mass shooting? Is this going to be on the news? Am I going to die? The box breathing helps in that situation. I remember driving, and I'm driving there, and we're driving very fast with the lights and sirens, and I gave myself just 2 sets of box breathing, and I probably didn't even get like the 4-second pause all the way in, but I just gave a deep inhale and a deep exhale, and I did that twice while I'm driving with the lights and sirens and weaving past cars and going 1,000 miles an hour to get to this scene. Thankfully, it was a shooting, but it didn't end up being a mass shooting. It ended up being like a gang-related thing, which in my area where I work is few and far between, and it's pretty rare, but it did help, right? And you can relate that to your personal life when things are going on, you're overstimulated, and maybe kids, or maybe your job is very stressful for the time being, for right now, or maybe something happens in your personal life. Maybe you just witnessed an accident. Maybe you're in an accident. Maybe something just happens. The box breathing helps. Now, here's another thing that you can use. This is like the second thing that I do all the time is before I start my day, if I know I have about 10 minutes before I have to go and start doing stuff. So before I get to my office, if I'm a little bit early, if I know it's going to be a crazy day, or I know I have a lot going on, or I know I'm about to walk into a supervisor that's going to ask me about things, or 3-4 cases that I have to work on that I've been working on for the past week, and I know the minute I sit down it's going to be go, 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 and it's not going to stop until I leave, then I sit down for this could be like literally 1 minute, but I try to do like 5-10 minutes. And no music, phone on airplane mode, especially if you're in your car. This works great. Guys who work a full-time job, if you sit in the driveway and you do this before you walk into the house, you know what I'm talking about. Just explain that to your spouse and say, like, listen, I'm just decompressing, right? Because during your commuting time and your driving time, you can't do this. You can't be doing another task while you're doing what I'm about to tell you. You need to sit down, and you could try some box breathing, but you really need to think about what you're about to do and prepare yourself and plan it out and map it out in your head, so that this way, once you put yourself in that situation, you're able to recollect yourself and recollect on your memory what your plan of attack was. And sometimes your plans will change. So I'll give you a clear example. If you just had a crazy day at work, this is for the guys, because this is a big thing with guys. You just had a crazy day at work and you're commuting home, and you know you're about to walk into a house with crazy kids, and your wife needs help with dinner, and this is going on, and little Jimmy's got soccer practice, and we got to hit that at 6:30, and if we don't get there at 6:30, he's going to be late, and he's going to be all angry and throw a tantrum again. And you have 5 minutes. Shoot a text to your wife and say, hey, I just need 5 minutes, and then I'll come in and I'll deal with everything. Please just give me these 5 minutes. Sit in your car, no music, no nothing, stare out the window, and just think and plan out what your plan of attack will be once you enter into the situation. Don't sit there and say, oh, I'm dreading this, this is gonna suck once I get in. I had such a hard day and now I gotta deal with all this. That's called rumination. You're ruminating about the problems that you're about to jump into. Don't ruminate. Just start solving the problem while you're there in a closed space with no external forces hitting you. Giving yourself that 5-10 minutes to just plan it out in your head, and then once you get in there, you're able to deal with it effectively, helps out a lot. The third thing is this: when it comes to managing and dealing with stress, you have to get some type of physical exercise in. I don't care if it's 10 push-ups and that's all you hit for the day. I don't care if that's what it is. The spike of dopamine that you're going to get from just exercising is going to help manage your stress. It's going to help manage your stress levels. It's going to make you feel good. It's going to, over the course of a long period of time, get you healthier, but you have to do some type of physical exercise. And if you're not in good physical shape right now, you could start with push-ups on the knees. I really like push-ups because you could do them anywhere. You could do jump squats. You could do regular squats. You could sit there and just run and jog in place. I don't care what you do. Elevate the heart rate, use your muscles, get some time under tension in there. And if you can do 100 push-ups, let's say you're doing sets of 25, then do sets of 25. If you got 15 minutes to bang out 100 push-ups, do it. It's going to help your stress management. It is going to help you 1,000%. I've been doing 100 push-ups. I've missed a few days here and there, but probably for like the last 60 or 70 days now, every single day, 100 push-ups mandatory, no matter what I'm doing. If I'm working out that day, if I'm going to my jiu-jitsu class, I'll hit my 100 push-ups. And that goal is helping me in managing my stress because I got something done. It's something that is good for me and my health. It makes me feel good. After I bang out a set of 25 push-ups, I feel great. And after I do that for 2 weeks every single day in a row without missing a day, now all of a sudden 25 push-ups doesn't feel as hard. I feel like I can go for 40, for 50 in one set. So those are the three things: the box breathing, the giving yourself 5 to 10 minutes to sit and plan your plan of attack when you're about to go into a stressful situation, and then doing some type of physical exercise. So the first thing, the box breathing, is when something is happening to you actively to manage your stress. The second thing, which is the sitting there and not ruminating and thinking about how horrible or how terrible this is going to be, what you're about to jump into, but just, gathering your thoughts and getting your plan of attack, that's for when you're about to go into something stressful. And the daily exercise, or even if it's literally 10 push-ups a day and that's all you get, that's going to help your overall stress management. And I learned that as a detective because I was forced to manage my stress because I was working a full-time job as a detective with shift work with 3 kids and a side business. So it was either that or go completely insane. Hopefully this stuff helps you.